The family planning ripple effect. Children survive and nations thrive. When a pebble is dropped into a pond, it creates ripples. They radiate out in concentric circles and change the surface of the pond. For countries around the world that are striving to create healthier populations and stronger economies, there is perhaps no better example of this ripple effect than family planning. Imagine that the pond represents a nation and the pebble is family planning. Data show that when couples use family planning to choose the healthy timing of pregnancy, to space the births of their children, and to achieve healthy nutrition for women and children, they create healthy families and in turn healthy nations. One of the biggest ripples from family planning is improving the health and survival of children. Thanks to concerted efforts, global under-age 5 deaths have dropped by nearly 50% over the last 20 years. But in spite of this progress, worldwide nearly 7 million children under the age of 5 still die each year, largely from preventable causes. Achieving the commitment of the Global Promise Renewed initiative to end preventable child and maternal deaths, and specifically to reduce child mortality rates to 20 or fewer deaths per 1,000 live births in all countries by the year 2035, will prevent the death of tens of millions of children. Existing inexpensive solutions such as family planning for the healthy timing and spacing of pregnancies can play a significant role in achieving these goals. Both mothers and children suffer health risks and increased risk of death when women begin childbearing at too young an age, when births are spaced too closely together, when couples have more children than they want and can care for, and when women have children too late in life. But the ripples from family planning address each of these, benefiting children, families, and entire nations. The first ripple in our timeline is the healthy timing of pregnancy. This means encouraging later age at marriage and enabling young women to use family planning strategies, including modern and natural methods, to delay their first pregnancy and the start of a family until they are at least 18 years old and feel ready. The World Health Organization recommends delaying pregnancy until at least age 18 because studies have shown that both children and mothers have the healthiest outcomes when mothers time their pregnancies between the ages of 18 to 34, the green years. Conversely, both infants and mothers face increased risk of birth complications and death when mothers are younger than 18 or over the age of 35. These complications include low birth weight, preterm birth, and stillbirth, all major contributors to the risk of newborn death. Improving maternal survival is a critical component of improving child survival because infants are far more likely to survive if their mothers also survive the first 6 weeks after birth. Although experts estimate that family planning already prevents over 270,000 maternal deaths every year, there is room to do better. Increasing family planning could save an additional 100,000 maternal lives every year, which would reduce maternal mortality by nearly a third. Evidence shows that when men and women learn the healthiest times for a woman to have a child, they choose to use family planning, and high-risk pregnancies are reduced. The second ripple in our impact timeline is healthy spacing of pregnancies. In a World Health Organization report, experts recommend waiting at least 24 months after a live birth before attempting to become pregnant again. Worldwide, 1 out of every 4 child deaths could be prevented every year if all birth to pregnancy intervals were 3 years. That would mean saving 1.6 million children's lives. Longer birth to pregnancy intervals can improve the health of mothers and babies. Research from around the world shows that as the interval from one birth to the next pregnancy increases, risks of mortality and complications, such as preterm delivery and low birth weight, decrease. In fact, infants conceived shortly after a live birth may face up to 3 times the risk of death. At the same time, A short interval can also affect an older sibling. The chances that a child will die before reaching age 5 increase if the mother becomes pregnant again before that child reaches age 1. Family planning is the key to achieving those birth intervals, and the data speak for themselves. Looking at our Trendalizer graph, we can see how child mortality and family planning are linked in countries around the world. On the left axis, we have under 5 mortality, or the number of deaths to children under 5 per 1,000 live births each year. Along the bottom axis, we have the proportion of married women using modern methods of family planning. The bubbles on the graph are countries, and the size indicates the population size of that country. The color indicates the region. Starting with the red, we have East Asia and the Pacific. Orange is Central Asia and Europe. Yellow is for North and South America. Green is for the Middle East and North Africa. The light blue is for South Asia, and the dark blue is for Sub-Saharan Africa. The year is 1985, and we can already see that countries further to the right on the graph, meaning greater use of modern family planning methods, have lower levels of child mortality. As we put the graph in motion and move forward in time, we see how deaths to children under 5 fall as the use of family planning increases. Although other interventions have certainly helped address child mortality in these countries, it is clear that family planning plays an important role. When we come to 2012, we see that we really have improved child survival around the world. If we go back 30 years to 1984 and just look at a few countries, the relationship between family planning and child survival becomes more evident. In 1984, Malawi, Bangladesh, and Indonesia were all in different stages of addressing child mortality and increasing access to family planning. Indonesia starts near the front, with lower child mortality and higher use of family planning, in large part due to government-supported community-level programs. In 1990, Islamic religious leaders issued a declaration that family planning had a direct benefit to families, particularly for child survival. Bangladesh started a little further back. The country has long invested in community-based family planning programs, and over the last 15 years, political priority for newborn survival has led to impressive gains. And the country has been able to achieve the Millennium Development Goal for child survival. Even though Malawi started at the back, with almost no use of family planning and child survival, near 250 deaths per 1,000 births, you can see it is almost catching up to both Bangladesh and Indonesia. In 2004, the Malawi government launched an initiative to improve the quality and integration of all health services in the public sector, improving access to family planning, maternal, newborn, and child health services. We see that over the course of about 30 years, all 3 countries, 3 very different cultures and contexts, made investments in family planning and health, which paid off in improving child survival. These data demonstrate that family planning programs can have an immediate impact in improving health and survival for both mothers and children. The third ripple in our impact timeline is healthy nutrition. The period from conception through a child's second birthday, often called the 1,000-day window of opportunity, is a critical period for nutritional investment. It sets the stage for physical growth and brain development throughout the rest of a child's life, and even affects academic achievement and economic productivity as adults. Family planning and birth spacing are the keys to ensuring that we maximize this window from day one. To ensure a healthy baby, nutritional goals must be met for the mother before and during pregnancy. While pregnant, women's nutritional intake lays the foundation for healthy growth of the child. Children of well-nourished mothers have a higher chance of a healthy birth outcome and tend to exhibit stronger mental function. After birth, infants remain dependent on their mothers for balanced and sufficient nutrition. This is best accomplished through exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of life. During this period, mothers are also generally protected from pregnancy through natural processes. But at the end of the first 6 months, the natural protection against pregnancy ends. Although infants transition to solid foods and other sources of nutrition at age 6 months, they remain dependent on breastfeeding to meet their nutritional needs, and the 1,000-day window of opportunity is still open until children reach the age of 2. This is why family planning and birth spacing remain essential. If a mother is still nursing an infant of any age, becoming pregnant again will make it very difficult to nutritionally satisfy both the nursing baby and the pregnancy, in addition to the woman's own needs. With family planning, women and couples can wait until after the 1,000-day window of opportunity to become pregnant with another child. These longer birth intervals are linked with reductions in stunting and underweight children, two critical barriers to their ability to survive and thrive. The fourth ripple in our impact timeline is the healthy family, created as couples use family planning to achieve their goals in healthy timing, spacing, family size, and nutrition. As a result, their family has the best chance of being healthy and fully contributing to their nation. Family planning helps parents proactively plan for and achieve their desired family size. This allows mothers and fathers to focus their family's resources on the number of children they want and can adequately care for, giving each child more food, more time, more attention, and more means a better chance at survival and prosperity. Research in Bangladesh has shown that when parents have access to comprehensive family planning, maternal and child health services, they are able to achieve their desired family size. In turn, their investment in each child increases, meaning better nutrition, greater use of preventive health services, and higher levels of academic achievement. This research also illustrated a decline in child mortality. Using family planning for birth spacing was a critical component of that decline. The result is that families and children have the best chance of surviving, thriving, and building a stronger community. The fifth ripple in our impact timeline is the national effect that is created with increasingly healthy and productive families. With strong governmental support for the implementation of family planning across the entire country, the impact of an individual's decisions and actions can be replicated on a national scale. For a country to feel these effects on a national level, an investment must be made, but it is an investment with an excellent return. The ripple effect of family planning will yield nearly 3 times the investment in savings over the next 10 to 15 years. This is because for every dollar invested in family planning, there is a directly related saving that is realized in other areas of governmental spending, primarily maternal health, water and sanitation, immunization, education, and malaria. This investment becomes even more important when considering the impact of healthy timing and spacing of pregnancy on economic growth. When girls are able to delay pregnancy until the age of 18 or later, they are often able to stay in school longer. Imagine if instead of becoming a mother at age 15, a girl delays marriage and childbearing and then continues her education. Not only does this open up her future, but data show that for every year of secondary education that she receives, she will increase her earning potential by 10%. Now, imagine the positive financial ripples she can create within her own family and her nation if she has even a few more years of education and then starts having children. Similar ripples are seen for the impact of nutrition during a child's first 1,000 days. The consequences of lower mental ability and earning potential caused by poor nutrition affect the economy. But ensuring adequate nutrition for optimal growth and development could lead to a GDP increase of up to 3%. The fiscal cost of poor maternal and child health is staggering, but the solutions are within reach. Around the world today, more than 220 million women and couples want to delay or space their next pregnancy, but are not using any form of family planning. If those needs were met, that would save the lives of more than 100,000 mothers and 1.6 million children every year, and would spur economies to new heights. Imagine, having invested in family planning, women and couples are able to plan their pregnancies. Their children are born healthier and they have a better chance at survival. With adequate spacing, their nutritional needs have been better met, especially during their 1,000-day window of opportunity. And these children have a stronger chance to reach their full potential. They excel in school and professionally, and they become the next generation of leaders. Building upon the foundation that you created, they are the drivers of a new and powerful economy. Just envision the countrywide ripples this would produce as mothers and children survive and economies grow. These ripples are powerful and will become the long-term tidal waves of change. Preventing child deaths requires a broad range of interventions. Family planning increases the efficacy of all of those, adding value as a critical and cost-effective strategy to increase child survival on a global scale. A promise renewed is ambitious, but the goal of ending preventable child and maternal deaths is achievable with targeted investment, thoughtful interventions, and a focus on healthy timing and spacing of pregnancies. Now is the time for action. Set goals for improving child health and identify 5-year milestones. Teach the importance of proper timing, spacing, and nutrition in pregnancy. Expand the available and affordable stock of contraceptives. Create and lead an action plan for your country. And speak out about the importance of family planning and child health. Progress in protecting a country's most fragile population, its infants and children, is one of the best measures of how well that country is succeeding. How do you want your country to be known? Let your legacy be leading your country to achieve its greatest potential. It all starts with one pebble.